So now here's another one is Barry Goldberg. Did you guys meet? You guys obviously met in Chicago.
I met him briefly in Chicago.
Okay.
I hardly knew him in Chicago.
You knew him more when he moved out here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was Bloomfield's friend.
Okay.
Another Lonsman.
Okay.
Play the blues.
Right.
And he was a blues player.
Yeah.
That's all he ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
Period.
And did Harvey Mandel move out here about the same time as those guys?
Maybe sooner. I moved out in 1966.
66. Okay.
This was after the Burning Bush.
Yeah, after Newport Blues, I mean
Jazz. Yes, after everything.
Folk Festival, yeah. Now, you went with those guys to that, because you were there at the whole Bob Dylan debacle and all that, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Even before that, where Joan Baez broke my heart.
What'd she do? Oh, you're saying she broke your heart when you heard her sing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
What a powerful voice.
She was amazing.
Emotional.
Just amazing.
Emoter. Oh,
I agree.
God.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, especially at that era in particular, man. So when did you first meet Bob Dylan? Did you meet him in New York or in Chicago? You could have met him in Chicago, because I know.
I didn't meet him there, though he was there.
He did play there, yeah, because Bloomfield met him there.
Yeah, I know. Grossman.
Right, through Grossman.
Yeah, no, that's another story.
And that's another story. I was going to say
you were there. His club in Chicago.
Gate of Horn, yeah.
Gate of Horn, right. That whole story.
Right. Now, did you know Albert when he had Gate of Horn, or did you not meet him until later?
Didn't get to be friends with him or anything.
Right.
But I was in his club a lot, and I talked to him a few times, Yeah. He was there. He was accessible. When Lenny Bruce got busted.
Right.
There at his club.
Now, didn't Lenny Bruce get busted a few times? He got.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Both out of that club.
Oh, really? Both out of that
yes.
club? Okay. So basically, you guys first went to, when you were hanging around with Butterfield, Bloomfield, and Elvin, you guys drove from Chicago to New York? Was that where you went first?
To Newport.
Oh, but you went straight to Newport. When did they do New York on that trip or not? Do you remember? Later, okay. And we were talking about Grossman and Alan Lomax rolling around in the dirt during the Newport Folk Festival because of the crappy introduction that Lomax gave to the band.
Right.
And then also Pete Seeger, I guess, cutting the cables on Bob Dylan when Butterfield's band backed up Dylan.
Now that I can't authenticate, because from Bloomfield, I heard the axe was not on cables.
Okay.
The axe was on a log.
Oh.
That Seeger was demonstrating what real folk music was about.
That's even better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth.
That's even better. Oh, man. But you said that there really weren't a lot of booze. It was only a few booze, but people seemed to like it.
It was mixed. There wasn't any real...
Wasn't like people were
boo feel. No.
Yeah.
There was no boo feel.
Right. But why do you think, do you have any idea why he cut his set so short? Because he only did like 4 songs or something. Do you know why?
Well,
just didn't feel like it was being received well enough?
I don't know why.
Yeah. Right.
I know they wanted to get out. I know that Bloomfield was all speeded up and playing everything twice as fast.
Right. Yeah. Do you think Mike did that kind of regularly?
Well, you see, that show, because I was part of Grossman's entourage at that time.
Right.
I drove Dylan to that gig from the hotel.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He didn't say a word.
Really?
Not a word.
Really? So you think that was nervousness? How would you perceive it? No,
Bob Dylan.
No idea. Yeah.
I heard later from Bloomfield that he had talked to Dylan before the show.
Right.
About the greeting he might get. And Dylan said, I'm going to shove it down their throats. And that's what he did.
And that's what he did, and that's what he continued to do pretty much. Because from what I gather from the band, when they went to Europe with him, it was the same thing. He was just relentless.
No, he didn't fuck around. One thing about Bob, music, whatever, is his character.
Yeah.
Now I heard a story about Grossman and Dylan in the early days.
Yeah.
When he first signed with Grossman. So he signed with Grossman. He went to Grossman's office and had a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And at this meeting, Albert told Bob, he said, Bob, you know, that contract you signed with Columbia, you weren't 21. You were underage.
Right.
And that contract is void.
Right.
And you want, I can go and Columbia and renegotiate.
Wow.
In other words, go stick them up.
Yeah.
And Dylan said, no. And he says, I know John Hammond.
Right.
He says, an honorable man. He says, I signed a deal with him. I'm going to stick with it. And
good for him. That's amazing.
And that's all you really have to know.
Right.
About Bob Dylan.
Right. Right.
You know, music, garbage cans. Who the fuck knows?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he's got a certain way of seeing things.
Right.
He's got character.
Right.
That's all you really got to know.
And eventually, from what I gather, he pretty much was fed up with Grossman at the end.
Yeah, Albert. You know, Albert was a thief. And he had Dylan by the short hairs.
Right.
Publishing.
Right.
That's where Albert got you.
Right.
Publishing.
Right.
Screw the other shit. Record sales. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Publishing, that is money.
Yeah.
And Albert made sure he got that.
Wow.
You know.
So his estate's probably worth a boatload of money, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't Dylan just sell what he owned of it? Dylan felt burned.
Sure.
And drifted away from Albert completely. Went to L.A., became Christian or something.
Right. Got in a motorcycle wreck. Another one of, now, and the flag ended up with Grossman.
Yeah. The flag.
Mm-hmm.
What a joke.
You're saying because it was kind of, did you feel like it was kind of a prefab thing? In a sense?
It was just anything having to do with Albert. There's a fraud.
Right.
We get together with Albert for the first time.
Right.
They had called me earlier. They knew I was a local.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, Nick, you're from there. Find us a big house. And I'll start shipping. This is Bloomfield. I'll start shipping musicians out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Put them up in the house. Get ready for rehearsals.
This was in Marin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tam Valley. I found this house through my real estate friend. It was a big house, 3-story, bunch of bedrooms. So I rented it. Nobody in the band was supposed to arrive for a couple weeks, so I had an empty house there. Well, early one morning, I hear a knock at my door. Open the door, and there is Roscoe Mitchell, Lester Bowie. These are the AAA.
Okay.
The American Association for the Advancement of Colored Musicians. There's a Chicago bunch. And they were all jazz guys.
Uh-huh.
Roscoe, famous jazz guy.
Uh-huh.
Lester Bowie.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Well, Lester was famous.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're at my door.
Mm-hmm.
Say, hey, what's going on? I say, hey, Nick, we had a gig in St. Louis. Now they arrived in a green Bentley, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. They arrived in this green Bentley.
Oh, my God.
And pile out. Say, hey, man, what's going on? We're here to visit. How you doing? And I said, boys, you fell into it. I got an empty house.
Wow.
And they had all their instruments in the Bentley and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove them over to the place. They unloaded their equipment mostly. And then they repacked their instruments and we all drove out to Muir Beach, where they took their instruments out to the shoreline. They set them up and they played a concert for the Pacific.
Wow. That's pretty awesome, actually.
I know.
Yeah.
These were, and they stayed there for a couple of weeks. It was empty. They ate their beans.
Yeah.
They played their music. They traveled around. They had a fucking ball.
Right.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my better experiences.
But they were supposed to be part of the flag. That was the original.
No.
Oh, this had nothing to do with it.
No, these were fire-out jazz guys.
Right. Okay.
Lester and those guys.
Yeah.
Roscoe.
Right.
They were Chicago kids.
Right.
And they went to Chicago schools.
Right.
Which had the best music departments in the country.
Right.
In Chicago.
Right.
And they all learned. By the time they graduated high school, they were way behind bebop, jazz, all that stuff.
Right.
They were doing experimental music.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Sun Ra type.
Their own thing.
Yeah. Ornette Coleman or whatever. Right.
He told me they did the concert in St. Louis before they came out.
Now, how'd they end up with your number anyway?
I knew him from Chicago.
So the house that you had, that ended up being where the flag lived, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that Grossman putting all that together?
Oh, he had
the
money and stuff and power, but Michael was...
He was the one
shipping them out.
Getting them out. Okay. Yeah. And Michael was still in Chicago, or was he out here?
Chicago.
In Chicago, okay. And so is that how Bloomfield ended up living here?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a result of that.
Close to.
And they had already played out here for Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd already,
Butterfield had.
Yeah.
I remember talking with Graham and Michael about that.
Yeah.
Bill Graham loved Bloomfield.
I know he did.
He loved him.
I know he did.
It's more than liking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a son.
Right.
And Bill says, "Oh man, you guys are the greatest band I've ever heard." Mm-hmm. He says, "Oh, you're fabulous, weren't you?" And then Michael said, "Oh, you ought to hear the guys that we learned from."
Right.
Huh?
He didn't know.
He didn't know. He says, "Well, I'll give you."
Yeah.
People like Hollywood.
Yeah.
People like Muddy Water.
Yeah.
People like John Lee Hooker.
Right.
Bill never heard of these people.
Right.
You know these people.
Right.
They're the man I learned from. These are the people we learned from. And here's the phone number of Muddy Waters' manager.
Wow.
In New York.
Wow.
Bingo.
And he just started calling every day.
That's it.
Yeah.
That became the blues at the Fillmore.
Right. So you had that mix of Chicago with the West Coast as soon as that happened.
I guess, yeah.
Pretty much.
But it turned out Bill Graham loved him. Oh, now he had a whole roster of bands.
Otis Rush, and
because he was up against it in San Francisco.
Because of the Avalon?
No.
Or what?
Only 3 or 4 bands.
Oh, right. Not enough groups.
Yeah.
Right.
So they had him over a barrel.
Yeah.
So they screwed
that
you.
Makes sense.
I'm bringing in Muddy.
That makes sense.
I'm bringing in Albert King.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Interesting. So the blues guys really kind of added to his war chest in a way.
In a way.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely a big way. That's how it got started. How do you think B.B. King got on TV?
I know. I mean, I heard B.B. King drove up to that gig and he thought he was at the wrong place. So he saw all the hippies lined up outside and he was like, I don't think this is the place.
Well, those were the times.
Yeah.
They were interesting times.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Did you go see B.B. when he first played here? Yeah.
Yeah. Went in the back room where Michael and B.B. were there.
Right.
And Michael introduced me. B.B., this is Nick.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Pleasure to meet you, blah, blah, blah. We're back there talking. Eventually, a later show, when Albert had come out to visit me when I was living in Tam Valley.
Right.
I had a little house there before I moved to my other house. Nice place. And Albert would come over and smoke pot. Because he knew I always had.
Albert Grossman?
Yeah. We'd hang out and smoke.
Right.
And he said, Nick, I'm here to see Paul over at Winterland. He's doing a show.
Right.
I'm going to show up. He says, you want to come along? And I said, Albert, I'd love to, but I can't. Why? He says, because bad blood between me and Bill Graham. Why? What happened? I said, we had a big tussle when Janis Joplin came to visit him at the Fillmore. When BD was playing, and the Electric Flag, and he wouldn't let her in the club, threw her out.
Why?
And she ran off down the street crying. I'm up in the back room talking to Mike and the people there. Sunshine, that was Janis's good girlfriend. Came in and said, hey, Bill just threw Janis out. I said, what? Tonight? Why? Wait, I don't know why. You know, being an asshole like he usually is. And I started cussing Bill out. Fat asshole.
Yeah.
I was just throwing out some hippie crazy fire. But she's a fucking blues singer.
Yeah.
And she's part of my tribe. You don't throw her out of the place.
Right.
She came here to visit with her tribe.
Yeah.
And then someone points over my shoulder, and there was Bill, standing there, listening to her.
Yeah.
I turned to him, I said, yeah, and that's just the beginning. And I cussed him out some more. I did.
Wow.
He looks at me and says, I'll get you for that.
Whoa.
And I never worked for him again.
Whoa.
Never.
That's heavy.
It's 30 years.
That's heavy. No, it's more.
Never
than
worked for him
30.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, real cutie pie.
Wow. So that would have been like 69 or something. 70s?
I don't
like
know.
Well, she was dead by 70s. So.
Yeah, so it was early.
Yeah.
69-ish.
Yeah.
Butter was at Winterland.
Right.
It was a weird gig.
Was it?
Yeah, I told Albert, I said, listen, I can't go. So much bad blood between them that if he goes off on me like he went on Janis,
right,
I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
And I had the gun to do it with. I did. I showed it to Albert.
Wow.
45 duraluminum frame with Super Vel fucking dumb bullets in it. You know?
Yeah. Wouldn't have been
Colt
much left.
Commander.
Yeah.
Colt Commander.
Wow.
Shoot flame with fucking. This was the gun. So I told Albert, I'm taking this gun gig.
Wow.
Okay, whatever.
Damn.
But he told me, he says, Nick, don't worry. He says, I've got him so bad that even you would feel sorry for him. That's what Albert told me. Oh, okay, let's go.
So what happened afterwards? I mean, you said you never worked there again. How come Albert didn't fix that?
I didn't ask him to.
Oh,
I didn't care by that time.
Yeah, by that time you were fed up. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I get to the gig. I got my gun in a side holster.
Right.
Quick draw.
Yeah.
Right there.
Right.
And I'm there. Butter calls me up on stage. Do a song. Oh, God. Oh, my gun's going to fall out. Holy shit. So Bill had a toady named Barry. And he was standing there by the stage.
Yeah.
So before I got on stage, I took the gun out and I held it. I said, Barry, hold on to this until I'm off stage. And he took it. I got up on stage, I did my 2 numbers, I got back off, he gave me the gun back.
Wow.
Now, this is Bill's toady. You don't think Bill heard about that?
Yeah, he definitely heard about it. Yeah.
I know he did.
Right, right.
He
So
heard about
that cemented you not working there again.
I was ready to kill him. If he got down on me in front of my friends and shit, I was going to shoot him.
Well, it's interesting. He just said, I'll get you for this. And that was the end of it.
Well, I never worked for him again.
Yeah. So now, is that when you started working at places like Keystone in San Francisco?
I was with Michael when we were playing Fillmore West,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the Carousel Ball.
Right,
Yeah.
Carousel, yeah.
Yeah, we were playing around, you know. And Michael said, Nick, you remember the old days? We would find a nice blues club. We'd play and all this bullshit.
Right.
I said, yeah. He says, you know any places like that? I said, oh, I'd think about it. I'll go down to North Beach and sniff around because that was my old stomping ground.
Right. Right.
So I'm walking down Vallejo, and who do I bump into but Jimmy Moscoso.
Good memory.
His brother, Victor,
Mm-hmm.
a famous hippie artist, Victor
Right.
Moscoso. And his brother, Jimmy, was a bass player for Cleveland Wrecking Company. I saw him walking down the street, down Vallejo. We talked. I said, hey, man, you know any places around here, any clubs, you know, we can get something going, I can bring Bloomfield down and play. He says, oh, yeah. It's right down the street, a place called the Keystone Corner. Well, okay. I went down there. And Freddie Herrera.
Right.
And his brother, Leroy.
Right. Right.
And they were both contractors. They did contract work.
Mm-hmm.
Leroy was doing some plastering in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked in, I talked to Freddie. I said, Freddie, I'm good friends with this great guitar player, Mike Bloomfield. We're playing the Fillmore. And he said, I said, listen, we'd like to come down here and play in your club. We'll split the money. He said, we'll take the door,
Mm-hmm.
and you take the bar. Well, it started.
Yeah.
It started to do well. People started to figure it out. From that spot on, we got Alvin Bishop. He moved into the club.
Mm-hmm.
He had a big room, had a bed, stove,
Right.
bathroom right there in the club.
Right.
He moved to that was where he lived.
Yeah.
He lived at the Keystone Corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then his relationship with John Lee Hooker.
Right.
He brought Hooker down.
Interesting.
And then that's how it all started. And all of a sudden, boom,
Yeah.
it was Blues Central.
Right.
You know, that's how that had started.
Yeah.
Michael,
Yeah.
the instigator. Well, Michael was a charismatic person.
Yeah.
People wanted to be around him.
Yeah.
And he was nuts. He had a lot of good fun with him.
Yeah.
I had great times with Michael.
Oh yeah.
But the Keystone, that's how that got started.
Yeah. And then you guys started playing the old Waldorf not long after that, didn't you?
Yeah, we played the original old Waldorf. And then, I forget his name.
The owner,
Yeah,
Jeff something?
Jeffrey, yeah.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey and Michael hit it off like peas and carrots.
Right.
They did, they hit it off. Jeffrey said to Mike, he said, yeah, I'm thinking maybe about getting into this place down on Visadero. I'm not Visadero, but the
Oh, right.
Front.
Off Battery and stuff.
Battery.
Right. Where the second club was.
And Michael said, absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't even think twice.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and do it.
That was a big room.
And he did.
Yeah, it was a big room.
He
Nice
did.
big room. Yeah.
He did well there,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually Bill Graham bought him out.
Aha. Okay.
That's what happened.
So Bill Graham pretty much eventually usurped everybody around here.
Yeah, that's what killed
Yeah.
the scene.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you ended up in the band after she passed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long were you in Big Brother?
Oh, not long.
Yeah.
9 months, something like that. A year.